Hello again, fellow homesteaders. We're continuing on with our natural dyeing with plants. I have some ironweed here. I love ironweed. My husband used to swear that it was a useless weed. He wanted to bush hog down in our pasture, but it has medicinal benefits which are not approved by the FDA, and I'm not a medical professional of any type, but in old home remedies it has been used, and we use it ourselves here. And we'll learn about ironweed, a little bit more about what it can do for you. If you're interested in natural remedies, click on over to Dan's other great website, Survival Sullivan. I did a full-length article about it there maybe a year ago. But I have close to a cup of ironweed here, and I picked out the flowers. It takes a lot of natural material, plant material, vegetables to do dyeing, to have the color not be very faded. Now, if you're using spices, they're more condensed. It takes maybe a tablespoon of turmeric to dye an adult-sized small shirt. When you're trying to figure out how much you need to dye a certain garment, or how much length of yarn or lace, it takes about 5 cups to do a toddler, preschool, young child size shirt, and about 12 for an adult large shirt. So you can see it takes a lot of material. If you notice in the picture I took that showed all my ironweed in the background, that was a huge bunch of ironweed. And not only does it require a lot of materials, it requires a lot of patience. I'm still finding some stems here, which doesn't hurt anything exactly, but will alter the color slightly because you want just the flowers in it. Some things you can use the leaves. You could use the leaves off about any plant that's safe for you to touch to make some type of a dye. But to pick all those little flowers off that ironweed plant, it took me a good 15 minutes. So you have to have a lot of materials, and you also have to have a lot of patience. So you need about, for every 1 cup of plant material, you need to have 2 to 3 cups of water, or 2 to 4, depending on how you were taught or where you're getting your information from. The general rule of thumb is enough water to cover what you're making. This pot's a little bit bigger than what I'm going to actually need, which if you're going to stick your dye material right in it as soon as you're done dyeing, that would be great. That's something to also consider. I'm not going to be putting anything right in it because we're going to do some different dye tests, and I'm going to make probably, I'm hoping, 7 or 8 different types of natural dyes. You're going to see this one on camera, and you're going to see how to do one in the microwave, but then we'll just do a composite video at the end showing you what we used and what the dye looks like to do the test on how it adheres to your clothing. So I'm going to take this pot away briefly and put some water in it, cold preferably. It'll heat up on the stove itself. I'm going to put I'm going to go ahead and do 3 cups of water. You don't want to do so much that it's going to fade out. Too much water can make your plant dye even lighter than what it was going to be. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to let it simmer for about an hour, just like you would with spices. If I was going to use turmeric, and what else does really well? Cinnamon, ginger spice. If you had powder spices, you could probably take the simmering time down to maybe half an hour, but you don't want to short the simmer. That's what really activates and pulls all the colors out of your natural matter. I prefer to do the full hour, even if I'm working with the spice. Now over here, some other dyes, just to give you an idea what else I'm going to be working on while you're not watching. I think we might do this in the microwave so you can see it. These are some tomato plants. We were given several flats of them in addition to what we'd already planted this year. We got a late start because of lots of flooding. And after I planted 61 tomato plants, I was just tired of doing it and didn't want to see them go to waste. Gave it away as many as I could, but I probably have 10 of them still sitting here. So I'm going to chop them up into little bits, the stems and the flowers. Tomato plants make typically a really pretty blue shade of dye. There's several different breeds of tomato plants here. I'm not sure how that will affect anything, if at all. I'm going to chop them up and use this microwave safe bowl, and that's the way you can just speed up the dyeing process. You can never speed up the soaking of your fabric in it if you don't want the color to be light or wash out right away. But using the microwave makes it much more quick. Oh, I found some more ironweed. I'm going to throw it in a pot. It was much quicker to go up on top on our upper pasture and pick a bunch of ironweed than it was to pull those little flowers off. And over here I have some, make sure you can see, some Sweet Joe Pie. which also is supposed to have medicinal properties. And I'm not quite sure what color it's supposed to make. I've not ever used it before. And I've looked at, there's some color guides and charts that help you decide what colors to use and what mordants are best for each one. None of them address Joe Pye, so it's going to be a mystery that's revealed to all of us together. But this is just simply, you spend a good bit of time on the prep, and the actual dyeing part is quick. But it takes a long time to chop up your material or to pull out your little flower petals and then to wait while everything simmers. So that's why hopefully the recipe didn't scare anybody off. With all the long prep time, you can sit there with the kids and have them help you with the flowers. You can make it a counting type of an activity, talking about the collar, how they grow, what they can do. It can be a fun activity for the whole family. And I'm going to chop up these tomatoes now, and I'm going to put them in this bowl, and just fill it, cover it with water, and then I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Now that that's going really well, there's a smidge of salt left in the measuring cup from using it as a mordant for our fabric prep. I'm just going to put a little bit, about the equivalent of a pinch or two, because there's not many flowers in there. And that kind of helps the dye prepare to set on the fabric as the fabric's preparing to accept the dye. I could use a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar works really well for plant and vegetable type natural dyes also. I just have found the salt personally works better for me. If you've had a different experience, or you prefer alum or cream of tartar, please let us know in the comments section and share your knowledge with us as well. So the next time we click back on here, we'll have some finished dye, and we will get ready to do some testing to see how the collars turned out, what plants made what collars, and how it's going to set on our clothing.